Morning, Gary. This is a response to your video on braining, and there's just this little bit I want to pick up on because you're asking this question uh, about what I'm on about. I guess it's kind of what I'm on about. What am I on about? I'm speculating on the kind of some kind of deconstruction of what it is to be a human, and perhaps some kind of technological implementation of, if not virtual reality, then some kind of technology which allows something to happen. I don't even know what it is, and I run out of words, and I'm running out of words, and I'm running out of ideas because I'm stupid. And I'm stupid in pretty much the same way that most of us are stupid. All of us are stupid because I'm a fucking human being, and human beings are stupid. We have this tiny little bandwidth of consciousness, little window out onto the world, this big, that that all the processing power in our brain tries to look out of. And it's hard, it's Plato's caves. We're trying to make sense of shadows. So I am coming across incoherent, and I accept that. I suppose what I'm thinking of here is, and I'm glad you brought brains up, because I did another video this morning about brains, that I made a couple of weeks ago actually, before I started this elephant project. But I think it's interesting to think about brains. I suppose what I'm thinking of there is, just to try and relate it to some of the other stories you've told. The brain is one of those, and the mind and consciousness and all the things that the brain does, is the result of a process which is pretty ghastly in many ways. You call it consumption, reproduction, and now cannibalism. I've referred to it in slightly different terms. But I think, I fully agree that it has a very problematic history, this thing here. You know what I mean? It is the lampshade made out of human skin, as I think I called it in one of my videos. It is a big computer that comes straight out of the concentration camps. It was built by Nazis. You know what I mean? Our brain, kind of. It has that kind of feel to it. It built by processes which are deeply, deeply horrible to think about. And our brain, this computer just sitting on a pile of corpses. And what do you do with that? Because on the one hand, it's contaminated technology, or it feels to me a little bit like contaminated technology. But at the same time, I don't know. I have to try to get over that little moral chasm. The other thing about it is, it isn't just sitting there as this well-formed computer, this brain of ours. It's also running these programs, as you rightly identify it. It is running the desire program, it is running the sex program, the reproduction program, the consume program, the compete program, the win program, it is running the self-destruct. It's running all these programs, which are programs that have been built by, again, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of those processes that it needed to do in order to generate itself. And now it's generated itself. Somehow we've become aware of ourselves, and we just realise that shit, we are a meat machine that's come out of the concentration camps. So that's the essential problem. So my speculations are about that, I suppose, really. And they're partly driven by two frustrations. One is this frustration about VR and technology, in the way that not just you talked about it, but everybody talks about it. And To Be Serious did a video this morning again talking about it. In the VR, it is fantastic VR, and I've seen some really great VR setups. There's a fantastic one in a place called Middlesbrough here, where I did a conference a few years back. It's called a cave environment, which is totally immersive. It's fantastic. They are great, and I'm a big fan of that stuff, and I'm a big fan of video games and movies, and they are superb. But the amount of processing power that's going on in those things is minuscule compared to what's going on in here. You know what I mean? Behind here, and yet we're using this technology just to run these little programs, the desire programs. Our brain can run those programs just on the top of itself. It's easy. So it just seems like a bit weird that we make let's say a VR setup that's got, yes, quite a nice fast supercomputer running it, and then we take this huge, fantastically massive computer and stick it inside the little one, just so that its desire programs can be satisfied. That just seems weird to me. I don't know what the solution is. As I say, it runs out of language, I think. It just runs out, for me at least, because I don't think there's a, my conscious imaginings are limited by the programs that are forming the words in the concept. So it just runs out. I don't think I can explain it. But I do feel sometimes that we're in the same position that just regular computers were in the 1940s, 1950s. There's that very famous quote from, I think it was the chairman of IBM or something like that, who said, you can probably just imagine a world market for computers of around 7 or 8 computers. It's one of those famous mispredictions of history. 7 or 8 computers in the world. And I kind of get a similar sense with VR technology, or just the kind of philosophies associated with that right now. I can see a real great use for VR and digital technologies, because they'll be able to run these little desire programs really, really well, and they'll be able to get the resolution turned up really high. It just feels like it's hard not to sound theological, I'm talking like that, but that's not really where I'm going. It just seems like with all that processing power, the most complicated thing in a known universe, doing this, doing little finger exercises. I mean, I don't know what, I'm not saying there's a solution. I'd rather just throw my consciousness a bone. Maybe that's all you're saying. Maybe you just need to say, throw consciousness a bone, let it get on with that. But whilst it's doing that, I'd like to find something else, just to see what would happen. What happens if you do something with this stuff. Yeah, incoherent as ever, but at least it was short.